Alright guys, so welcome to our today's podcast here at Save the World on LinkedIn TV, and today we are having such an amazing guest, as you can see, and we'll be talking about so many amazing things, and you really can't wait to hear what we'll be talking about. And because we don't want to take much of your time, we'll go straight to the conversation that we are having today. So today really we'll just be talking about how the marine conservation can contribute to the climate change action, especially among the young people. So that will be the topic of the day today. And I believe by the end of this particular conversation, we'll be at a better level on understanding, the role of marine conservation. Yeah. So we're going to just start it straight away. So sit back, relax, and watch this. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Yeah. So welcome to Save the World podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
So to our guest there, who are you?
My name is Tilda Bowden, and I am one of the founders of Oceans Alive, which is a marine conservation organisation based at Kuruwitu in Kilifi on the Kenyan coast.
When you think about the future, really, especially the future of Africa, what really do you think will be the role of conservancy, such as the one that you have in ensuring that we have a continent where climate change action is put forward? What really do you think is that particular future?
Well, the most thing about our climate and our future is our children, and in Kenya, more than 50% of the population are under the age of 21. So old people like me, we're not relevant, but who really is relevant are the children. And it's so important to get them to understand the issues, to get angry about some of the issues, and to do something about it. We've got an amazing group of young children in Nyali, in Mombasa, called Ocean Eyes. And these children are aged between 12 and 13. And they came to Kuruwitu, and they saw our project, and they saw our coral restoration, our turtle protection, and all the stuff that was going on in the marine, and they said, we want to do something about it. And they've raised so much money. They are up there on our board of donors, and they work at weekends to come and do beach cleanups and help us with turtles and do all sorts of stuff that make a real impact on the environment. And they're young children, and we love them. As we work with the UN, we work with huge donors, and we value the Ocean Eyes group as we do these big organisations, because they're really helping to make a difference.
What you do in a nutshell, but someone probably of you would want to know exactly and more elaborately, what do you do?
So at Oceans Alive, what we do is we have worked with the local community. It's very important that everything we do is with and for the community. If we try and tell the community, don't fish here, don't fish there, what are they going to do? It's a fishing community. So we've got to work with the community and make sure we're all on the same page. We all agree. We have our marine protected area, which we call the nursery, and then the fishing areas, which is the university. But if we don't leave the nursery to breed and get healthy and to rebalance, there's nothing in the university. So working with the local community is really exciting because we understand their needs. We can't say no fishing. We have to look at what nature does. If we give nature a chance to rebalance and not exploit nature to a degree of killing nature, if we can just take the pressure off and let nature recover. And we've got this marine protected area, which is a no fishing zone. And it's really powerful, and it's meant that our fishing in the area for the local community is much, much better than it was before we started.
Wow, session really. As a founder and as one of the leaders of the Oceans Alive initiative, what are some of the innovative ways that you people are engaging in to ensure that you balance between serving your purpose and also staying in the community, because a lot of these conservations that we have in Kenya, the thing is that they have been having a lot of conflicts with like the community members here.
Exactly. My answer, I'll keep it short. It may not sound very exciting, but it is pretty exciting, is that we do marine conservation, but one of our projects that we've been doing recently is a permaculture project. So we've been working with women in the local community to create these sap gardens, and the sap gardens produce green leafy vegetables very quickly, very cost effectively, with minimum water. And what that means, why that's relevant to marine conservation, is that if our local community members can feed their families without always going to the sea, it takes pressure off the marine environment. It also means that children, when they go home from school, they have some lunch. And everybody can learn better when they've had some lunch.
Yes.
And they're not just listening to their tummies rumble. And so we are helping the women to grow the green leafy vegetables themselves. We start them off, and then they take the project on from there. And they're now teaching their sisters and their friends, and the whole project is spreading. And we've already had teachers coming back to us saying, "What have you done with these kids? They're great." So we're seeing an impact. And this is in a drought. We're currently experiencing drought. We haven't yet had rain at the coast. And so for these local women, these community women, to be able to feed their families without coins is a really big deal. And it does help marine conservation in relieving pressure on the marine assets we have.
All right. Another question. How does marine conservation contribute to climate change action?
Okay, so there's so many ways it contributes. They're not the most exciting ones. We have seagrass, and seagrass, it's as it sounds. It looks like grass, and you're snorkeling along, and it just looks like green grass. But by the end of the day, all of the seagrass has oxygen bubbles on it. And the seagrass, like trees and green that we know on land, is pumping out oxygen, which is so important. We all know about the harm of carbon, and oxygen producing plants are very important. So we have seagrass, which is protected and is growing and thriving. Seagrass works within a balanced, it works in balance with the rest of the biodiversity. So we have fish. We have a biodiversity of fish. We have a biodiversity of coral. We have all of the different elements of a healthy marine space, and they all sequester carbon and produce oxygen. So it's a natural cycle in balance.
I mean, this really huge in contributing to this particular fight. I mean, and really, I appreciate you for that. So finally, really, just as I told you, what we do mostly at this podcast is just to create that particular awareness to the young people and all that. So, what would you love to tell, what would you want to tell the young people who are watching this? How can they contribute to climate change action, wherever they are, with the local solutions that they do have?
That's a really good question, Lincoln, and I would just like to say to everybody watching this podcast that you can do something about it. You don't have to wait for anybody. You don't have to wait for your parents or your teachers. You can do something about it. And doing something is better than doing nothing. And it's your future. So take hold of it and do something about it. And make change. And you can make small changes at first, but those small changes have big impacts. And you as the youth have a massive, massive chance to make a massive impact. And we're all hoping that that's the choice that you make.
So you can also tell us some of the activities that you do, in your, conservancy, especially now be a bit particular in them, so that many people can understand in the specifics and in the details what you actually exactly do.
I think most people know turtles are quite endangered. There's all around the world there are problems of turtles. They get caught up in plastic pollution, a lot of plastic in our oceans, and so turtles have been really under threat. And at Oceans Alive, they're part of the marinescape, and we love turtles. Seeing turtles hatch is one of the sweetest things you'll ever see in your life. They are so cute, guys, and they're incredible. They're like the size of a matchbox, and they shuffle to the sea, and they're just gorgeous. But quite aside from the kind of Disney joy of it, in our community, when people are poor, they will find food wherever they can. And we have, as many coastal communities have, a lot of turtle poaching. And turtle poaching is actually, if you're caught and prosecuted by the law, by the police, it's a life jail term. So it's a serious crime.
A series of crimes, yeah.
But people still, they're hungry, they want to make money, and they catch turtles when they come up to lay, and they kill them, and all those eggs that mother turtle would have laid are lost. So usually over 100 eggs in that instance are lost when the turtle is poached. And people say the meat is nice and it's sweet, and all I think of is those baby turtles that never got to swim freely in the sea because somebody killed the mother turtle and that opportunity was lost. I just think it's so important to understand when we make choices, those choices have consequences. And for me, I couldn't eat turtle meat. I wouldn't find it sweet. I'm lucky, I have choices, I can choose what to eat. But we all need to be aware of those choices that we make, and I choose to save the turtles.